Listen to the vibes.
The views and opinions of our guests may not necessarily reflect those of the host or the Vibes Broadcast Network. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Listen to the Vibes. I have here Mr. Kaj Smit. He is all the way over in the Netherlands, and he's got quite a bit interesting story to tell. 19 years old. He's had some pretty close risks with death, from my understanding. And so just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Kaj Smit. I'm 19 years old. And on the 12th of May, 2021, I had 2 cerebral hemorrhages, or brain hemorrhage.
Man.
Which, that the doctors gave me a 5% chance to survive the night. And if I did survive the night, they gave me a 95% chance of being brain dead.
That's awful.
Yeah. The only good part was that I didn't get this news. My parents did. So that's a good thing because I didn't know what kind of situation I was in. But that my parents, who were in shock, had to get this kind of news. It was devastating.
So what caused that?
Spontaneous.
Just spontaneous. Wow.
Just out of the blue, I got some statistics that 1 in 3 brain hemorrhages is spontaneous. No cause,
Just happens.
Nothing, just happens out of the blue.
So do you think that because you didn't know what was going on, that you just kind of, I don't know, your way of thinking kept you from going into a dark place?
Well, how should I explain this? That on the 12th of May, the brain hemorrhage started at around 8 p.m. And that's something we can see on the security cameras because I walked from the garage back to the house.
Right.
After I was working out, which I did 4 to 6 times a week. And I got inside. I told my mother, I have a huge headache. It's killing. But if you stand to the right of me, I can still see you. If you stand to the left of me, I can't see you anymore. And they knew, okay, this isn't right. So my neighbor is a doctor. They called him over and they asked, okay, Kai has a huge headache. Can you take some tests, run some tests, see if it's serious or not? He did everything. He did even the test for brain hemorrhage. I had none of the symptoms. So he told me, you have a migraine. Go upstairs, take some rest. If I had done that, I would have been dead.
Jeez, man.
So he left, and let's say 10 p.m., I laid down on the ground because I was sweating a lot. I had almost fever symptoms. And then the symptoms of brain hemorrhage started kicking, which are tingling sensation in your limbs, motor function that just doesn't work, so you can't move your legs or arms, and your speech becomes impaired, disabled. That's it, disabled. So I only, of those 3 things, I had only the tingling in my limbs. Then I had an epileptic attack. So my parents called the alarm number, which is in the Netherlands 112, which in the US would be 911.
Right.
And they came, and I was taken to the hospital, straight into surgery, and that's when I had the epileptic attack, everything went black for me, and I woke up 2 months later in a rehabilitation center where I didn't know anyone, I couldn't speak and couldn't move.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, let's put a hypothetical out there. Let's say someone knew that they were going to experience the same thing, and they were asking you, how did you get through this? What would you tell them?
Well, to be honest, I've also been in a very dark place
Mm-hmm.
because, well, I thought this was all a dream. Because who wouldn't? I was an 18-year-old kid who worked out 4 to 6 times a week, didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't use drugs. I was studying to get into university, and everything suddenly changed. I woke up, couldn't move, couldn't speak, was in a strange place with people I didn't know. I thought, okay, this is just like Inception. I'm in a dream, I need to get out. And
Right.
I don't know, have you seen the movie Inception?
Yes.
The wife of Leonardo DiCaprio, she thinks she's still in the dream and wants to commit suicide because of it. Well, one of the first things I asked my mother was, can you give me a gun? Because I don't want to continue anymore. And well, how I got out of it was someone came by who had experienced the same thing and who had um, given me insight on how it was and what it was like. His accident, he had a seizure and he had a stroke at 14 when he was in Canada. And he told me, I thought it was all a dream as well. Until I got back to the Netherlands. That's when I knew this is real. And when he came by, he was a bodybuilder. And I looked at him and I thought, holy damn, how are you so good? Why are you so normal? And that just gave me a lot of positivity.
Wow. Well, yeah, I know. I use my children, I guess, as my reason for going on. Because there were times I was just like I was done, and that I still go through that from time to time. Do you ever worry that that's going to happen to you again?
I I know it's not going to happen again because I had a lot of brain scans,
Mm-hmm.
and if they found the cause, then the chance of happening again would be very big because I had a high blood sorry, high blood pressure, weak blood vessels, everything that just says, okay, it's going to happen again. I didn't have any of that. So they didn't find the cause, but they said that's a good thing because if we found the cause, that would mean that it's likely to happen again.
Wow.
So my chance of it happening again is just as big as yours, and I hope that's very slim.
I don't need any more problems.
No.
So what are your plans for the future?
I have given a reading, let's say speech, yesterday. It was my first speech in front of a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of writing a book because I've learned so many lessons and how to keep positive and how to know where the problem is when you're not seeing the improvements that you want.
Right.
And I can explain those lessons if you'd like.
Yes, please, please.
Okay, so the first lesson is don't take any advice from anyone. It's don't let anyone say what you can and can't do. That's the lesson because no one knows what someone is capable of. They gave me a 0.25% chance of being able to even understand what had happened to me. There's not even the slim chance of me being able to get back to my old self, or at least a glimpse of my old self. So, and I blew them all out of the water. That they didn't give me any chance. They said, I have accepted you into this rehabilitation center, said the rehabilitation doctor, but I had no faith in you. I saw your brain scans, there's too much damage. Well, I am currently the best result they've had. Because I literally went from a vegetable to this in under a year. And they said that even if you were able to get back, it would take at least 5 to 10 years. And so that's lesson one. Lesson two would be this is something that happened in my rehabilitation, but it's also something normal people can take into account. And that is, if you want to achieve something, don't look at your end goal. Look at where you started. That gives you a positive view. Because if you look at, let's say, I were to ask you, let's say you get $50 million to swim to Cuba, would you do it?
I would try.
So you dare to do it. But do you think you would make it?
I know I wouldn't make it.
Yeah, let's see. That's one of the things, because people dare to do something, but they don't think that they don't believe they can make it. But if I were to tell you that every mile to Cuba there's a boat and there's a heating station, food, water, blankets, you can stay there as long as you'd like. There's no time limit on getting to Cuba. Would you do it?
Oh yes.
Because your end goal doesn't become Cuba, it becomes the next boat. So if you look at the end goal, it's very unreachable. You're going to do it, but you don't think you can make it. But if you divide it up into separate parts, then it becomes plausible that you can achieve it.
Great way of looking at it.
Yeah, that's what kept me positive, mostly because I thought, okay, I want to walk again. And what kept me, well, not progressing as much as I'd like was my way of thinking at first, because I thought I could always walk, that me taking a few steps isn't that amazing because I could always walk. But that's not how you should look at it. You should look at it like, I was in the ICU and my parents took pictures because the doctors recommended they take pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I looked back at those pictures and I saw, okay, that's where I was a vegetable. I was on the brink of death. I'm now here. I'm taking a few steps. This is amazing because I look how far I've already come. And that's what kept me positive, thinking of how much I'd improved and not looking at my end goal. Those are two of the three lessons. Then I also developed a method which everyone can take into account, and that's the wish, believe, dare, do method. Do you wish or do you want to achieve your goals?
Of
Do you
course.
believe you can do it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you dare to take the step? Well, then do it. Because let's put this into perspective. My left arm, which is this arm, they
Right.
said to me, it's not going to work again. Well, you have too much damage and you're not improving as much as we'd like to see. It's not going to happen. So I didn't take that for an answer. I thought, you can all suck it. I'm going to prove you wrong. So, but my dad, he was my drill sergeant. I call him my drill sergeant. So, because he was pushing me to the limit, even though I was almost on the brink of crying, he said, no, you're going to continue. And I love him for that, because that's what got me to where I am right now. And to put the wishing into perspective, that my left arm I wanted it to be better. I wanted to use it again. But when I was practicing it with my dad, he asked me, okay, can you move it? Can you grab this? I said, no, I can't. Why not? Because they told me that I can't. And I don't think I can do it. I've never done it before. So do you even want to move your arm? He said to me. I said, yes, just get him off my back. Because he was in my face like 24/7. And I said it, and he said, I don't believe you. So step one, do you really want to achieve your goals? When I had overcome that obstacle, really wanting to achieve my goals, that's when the next step came, which is believing. And that's when I said, okay, I don't think I can move my arm. He said, but you did it there. Yeah, but it's not working now. Do you even believe you can do it? I said, no, because I've never done it. And he said, okay, the second step is believing. Then the third step, when my arm was improving, not very much, but it was still improving, but I was very quickly improving in walking. I could walk for 10 meters, and which is around 5 feet. So, how long do you think I took to cross 5 feet the first time I did it?
I have no idea.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Wow.
10 minutes to cross 5 feet.
Hmm.
That's 10 meters is probably 20 feet or something. Sorry, not 5. Because I'm 6 feet, so that's. But it took me a long time, and I did it with a cane. And when someone was holding my hands, I dared to take some steps. But when they let go of my hands, I froze, and I didn't know what to do anymore. I froze up, and my dad asked me when we were at home, "Why are you freezing up? You can walk." I said, "No, I'm scared to fall." He said, "Do you even dare to take the next step?" "No, because I'm scared to fall." So that's when he said, "Okay, third step is daring to take the next step." So it was wishing. Do you really wish to achieve your goals? Do you really want it? Do you believe you can take it? And do you dare to take the next step? Well, then just do it. And that's what kept me on my way.
Wow. Yeah. When I had my heart attack, I'd been drinking a lot, doing a lot of drugs, not eating right, the whole 9 yards. I did a lot of damage to my nervous system, some brain damage,
Mhm.
and at all accounts, I shouldn't even be here right now. I should be dead. My vitals, the test that came back, the doctor came in and said, "I don't even know how you're still here." And at one point in my life, I didn't care if I lived or died, but having children and realizing that I could have left them without a dad, without their means of support,
Yeah.
it motivated me. And I still have problems today. My hands shake real bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes I lose my train of thought,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But I guess I never believed that I couldn't do anything.
No.
You know what I mean? You just
Yeah.
you never even took in account that it would be possible that you couldn't do anything.
Indeed. Yeah. That's how I thought. I thought exactly the same. When people told me, because my physician told me, okay, you need a hand bike. So we cycle a lot in the Netherlands, and it's on 2 wheels, and you need to have a bit of stabilization to bike on 2 wheels. But I didn't have that. I couldn't move my arms right. I couldn't move my legs right. So he told me, okay, you need to have a hand bike. You need to have a cane, and you need to have a brace. Well, the only thing I've left is the brace. And why do I have a brace? Well, because with brain damage, most people get spasm because of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's your brain sending too many signals to your muscles, and which they overload.
Yeah, that
And
sucks.
yeah, it sucks. And my feet want to go down, but there's ground underneath it, so the tension goes up, goes to my knee, and collects and shoots it back. And if I do that too much and it becomes too extensive, I can get a knee injury. And I thought, okay, no, I don't want a knee injury. I already have brain damage. I don't need a knee injury. One is enough.
Wow.
And yeah,
You know, the disease that I told you I have in my spine,
Mhm.
it deteriorates the bone and it also the discs in between.
yeah,
And so that was added on nerve damage.
yeah,
And you talk about the spasm. Sometimes my legs won't work. So
yeah,
they just kind of give out on me.
yeah,
I can be holding something and then I can't feel it. And so I'll drop whatever I'm holding. It gets
yeah,
frustrating,
yeah,
but you keep going on, you keep going on. And I think the difference being that before I only thought about myself, about my problems, and
yeah,
I just that's why I didn't care to live. But when I started thinking about my loved ones and their needs, that made such a difference in my will to keep going on.
Yeah.
I could have gave up. You could have gave up,
Yeah.
but you just find that something deep down inside that keeps you going.
Well, there were three reasons why I didn't give up. Three fears, actually.
Mhm.
One was staying as I was in that moment, so a vegetable, because I knew my parents deserved better. So yeah, my loved ones. Second was going to a nursing home, because if in rehabilitation, if you don't make enough progress, the insurance company says, okay, we're stopping the funding because he's not improving and we need to make money. So we're stopping the funding and just place him in a nursing home. I was 18, mentally in order. I nothing going on above. So I was perceiving everything as normal, but I just couldn't move. And the fear of every 6 weeks we had a MD, which is a multidisciplinary meeting. That's the MDM, and which was all the disciplines. So physician and arm therapy, cognitive therapy, vocal therapy, everything. Everyone had a meeting about me to see if I'd improved or not. Those 6 weeks, every time that meeting came up, I was stressed out of my head because I was so afraid that they would say, okay, Kai, you're not improving as much as we would want, or you're not improving at all. We're giving you 2 more chances and then you're going to nursing home. So I wasn't improving a lot in 6 months. And I was very stiff. They thought it was spasm, so they gave me medicine for it. It didn't work. My miracle drug came after 6 months. And well, I call it a miracle drug, but it's not a miracle drug because you have to see it as a water, as a river with a dam in front of it. That I put water in front of the dam with a bucket for 6 months, but it was a dam, so it couldn't flow right. But what helped me a lot was when you could just, in the beginning, you saw me take it. It was dopamine. Because do you know the disease of Parkinson?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have the symptoms of the disease of Parkinson, but I don't have the disease. But I have a very severe case of it. And that's that the symptoms of Parkinson, well, Parkinson's disease is you have a lack of dopamine because the cells in your head get killed by the disease. So you have a lack of dopamine. And dopamine is a neurotransmitter, which is kind of a talk between your muscles and your brain. Let's say you talk English, I talk Dutch, I don't speak English, and you want to say something to me. Then we need a person in between to translate for me. But if that person is gone, and I tell you I need 20% of the signals you can send, you think, oh, 20, 100%. You send me 100, then I'm going to overload and I'm going to be stiff. Wow. So they tried everything, but at some point my physician thought, okay, he's so stiff, it's almost like Parkinson. He looked at my brain scan and he saw, yes, I was hit in the part of the brain where dopamine is made and stored. So they gave me dopamine pill, Madopar, Levodopa, which is the Dutch probably translation of it, so dopamine. And they upped the doses until it was 200 milligrams a piece. And when it finally was 200 milligrams a piece, I think they started on Thursday. On Monday, I could move my arm again. Next week, I could talk normal again. Next week, I could walk again. So it was only 3 weeks. I knew, okay, it's going to be all right. But and then, how many pills do you think I need to take a day of dopamine? The Parkinson patient takes about 4, 3, 4. How many do you think I need to take?
I have no idea.
16.
16?
16.
Good
Every,
Lord, man.
every 1.5 hours, I need to take a pill.
Wow.
That's because I told you I had a severe case of it, because I was hit in the part where the dopamine is made, but also where it's stored. So let's say you have a flask. I've got a pure vodka is in it. No, there's water in it, but the flask, yeah. When your brain has makes too much dopamine because you don't need as much, it stores it in the flask. But when you make too little, or you're in a depressing mood or something, your brain opens the flask and pours a little in your head, so that you have reserves. That's also how ecstasy works. Ecstasy, the pills, they take your reserves, empty it completely, so you feel an amazing sensation. But after it works out and the reserves are gone, you feel awful because you don't have any reserves left.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have any reserves, which
Wow.
means everything that comes in is used. One giant upside to this is ecstasy pills are like candy to me. I can take it and it does nothing.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine. And you know, there's something about fear that drives us. And there's healthy fear and unhealthy fear.
Yeah.
And this is my opinion. Somebody else may have a differing opinion, but the fear that should drive you is like the fear of not being able to move correctly or to function correctly, and
Yeah.
so that makes you fight in order to do those things.
Yeah.
And we have a fight or flight kind of mentality. You
Yeah.
either are going to fight or you're going to run.
Yeah.
And you when you want to use your arm again, or you want to walk again, you want whatever it is, that is your stand and fight moment.
Yeah. Well, my niece, who is attending a study at a university in the Netherlands,
Mm-hmm.
it's a movement kind of study, and they had two options in traumatic experiences, two ways of coping with the situation. One was avoidance, which was through drugs, alcohol,
That was me.
yeah, and you have confrontation, so going headfirst in it, saying, "Suck off! I'm going to continue. I'm going to do this." I first chose the first one, the first 6 weeks of my awakening after 2 months of being in the hospital. I first chose the escape, avoidance. And when I knew this was real and that I had to fight for it, I chose confrontation.
Yeah.
And that one did wonders for me. I thought, okay, I'm going to give you all hell. You can all suck it. I am going to prove you all wrong. That I am going to be the best there is.
That's awesome. That's what I mean. You took the right attitude. You were going to fight. You weren't going to take that, I give up mentality and run. And I'm assuming that you're going to use your experiences to help other people.
Yes, I did a conference yesterday in front of nurses, 15 nurses, which was my first public speaking opportunity. And they told me that they gotten so much insight into how to deal with people who were suicidal and how to deal with people who couldn't move anything or how to communicate with them. That just made me happy. And I knew, and in my rehabilitation center, there is a girl, let's call her Claire. Her name isn't Claire, but let's call her Claire. And Claire thought it was all a dream as well. She had a brain hemorrhage as well, and couldn't move anything, was a vegetable. But what she thought wrongly. She thought that she could move her arm for 10 centimeters. which she couldn't do last month. But she told me, what's so special about this? I could move my arm before the accident just as much, or even better. And I said to her, no, you don't need, you need to think differently, because now you're seeing it negatively. And she found me on LinkedIn. I don't know how, but she found me on LinkedIn. And I found her on Instagram. We started to talk. And in my rehabilitation center, there are 20 people who have brain damage, so who need to rehabilitate, 20 therapists, and 20 nurses. So 60 people in total. Claire was one of those. Claire, I was talking to Claire. She wanted to cook something with me for a therapy. I agreed because I thought, yeah, why not? I'm happy-go-lucky, let's do it. And I was talking to her, how is it in the clinic? How is it in the hospital? Because I was rehabilitating from home.
Mm-hmm.
And she was still in the hospital, and she told me, I have no contact with anyone else except you. I talked to her half an hour a day, maybe an hour in every 2 days. And she was in a place where there were 60 people surrounding her, attending to her every day. And she wouldn't talk to anyone about it.
Wow. Only you.
Only me. That broke my heart.
Man.
Then I gave her a solution which helped me a lot. That was the person who had his accident abroad and who told me how to get out of the dream. He was one of the solutions. The other one was medication, which was in a comative. If you're in a coma and you don't think right, and it was kind of a half coma situation for me. So the medication helped me to wake up. But the third one that I knew it wasn't a dream was talking to people, because I started to message my friends again on Snapchat or WhatsApp. And what I thought, I could predict everything that the nurses did. I asked them, can I go to the bathroom? They said yes in 5 minutes. This was standard. So I thought, okay, if I message my friends, say, how are you? They're going to say, good, how are you? But no, they said, holy shit, guy, how are you alive? Is everything all right? And it just made me realize, okay, this is real, because I didn't expect this and I couldn't predict their answers. And then I was moving to a different place. So, and I told Claire, okay, if you think this is a dream, talk to people. You can't predict everything they're going to say. So that's what she did. Her mother came to me and she said, I don't know what you did, but thank you very much, because Claire is talking to people again and her speech is improving. So, and that just gave me such a great feeling of helping people that I thought, okay, this is what I want to do.
That's the key, man. That's what we're here for, to help others.
Yeah.
I wish we could keep talking, but our time is up. And but I know there's going to be people that are going to want to know more. So do you have a website?
Yeah, I do. It's kajsmit.com, Kaj Smit. And on LinkedIn, it's also Kaj Smit.
Okay. And Instagram, Facebook?
Kaj N for Nico Smit. So KAJNSMIT. That's Instagram and LinkedIn and the website I just told you, kajsmit.com.
All right. I'm going to put those links in the description so people can find you. And I wish the best for you.
Thank you.
Want to say, congratulations. That's a great achievement that you beat the odds like you did, and continue to be an inspiration to others.
I will.
All right. Well, thank you once again. I want to thank everyone who's joined us today. If you're new to the channel, I'd ask that you please subscribe. And for those of you who are regular, thank you for your support. It's because of you that we do what we do. And so until the next one, everyone, please take care. Be kind to one another. God bless and peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts. And on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network